Hello everyone. In this lesson we are going to learn about Auth guard, which is also known as router guard and router navigate, and how they can help with the flow of the application. So currently we can go to the login page and we can sign in with an already existing user that we have signed up for. But you will notice that after the sign in, we are staying in the same page, which is not expected. The user, after the sign in works, he would usually like to go to a functional place of the application. For example, this home page for the recent albums. And then similarly, once the user log out, we want the user to go back to the sign up page. So let's see how we can do that. So let's go back to the login page. And we know that from here the user can either sign in or sign up. And then if we go to the user service, you will see that when the sign up works or the login works, we only print this success message or that it worked. But at the same time, we want the user to navigate to a more functional place in the application. So the way we can do that is we can use a router navigate for that. So let's import the router in this service. So we can include that in the constructor private router : router, and it will complain that it's not important, so we can import it. And once this is imported, now we have this as a class variable and we can use it from when the sign up. After the sign up is successful, we can use this .router.navigate, which is a function from the router, and it actually will allow us to navigate the user to a different place in the application. So in this case, we can navigate them to the place where the user can look at the recent albums. So albums/recent. And we can do the same thing when the user login is successful. Now let's see that in action. So the user is in the home page and they sign in. And after the sign in, they automatically navigate it here. And then similarly, when the user log out, this method get called. This clears the local storage, and it also call Firebase to sign out. But at the same time, we can basically navigate the user to the login page. And let's see that in action. Log out, and then the user navigated back to the login page. Now, one thing you noticed here is that even if the user is not logged in, he can actually click on this button to go to those components, which we don't want. and that's where the auth guard comes in handy, and we can tell in the router module using auth guard which are the path that the user should not be able to go. And let's see that as an example. So if we go to our app routing module, so currently we have two parameter here, path and component. But one other thing we can add here is an auth guard, and the way it's passed is we say can activate. So whether this path the user can activate that, and we need to give here a service name that will tell whether the user should be able to go to that path or not. And sometimes a different service is created for that. You can do it that way, but in our case all the user and login related functionality is done in the user service, so we can just use user service for that. And when we did that, it gave a complaint that the type of user service is missing the following properties. So it's actually looking for the can activate functionality to be implemented in user service, which currently it doesn't. So for that, what we need to do is we need to go to the user service, and it needs to implement that can activate functionality. So implements can activate. And once we did that, now the next complaint it says is that it is saying that it's implementing can activate, but it doesn't have actually a method name can activate. It needs to have that method. So let's go ahead and implement that method, can activate, and then the method should return boolean. Now in this method, the method name will come, the boolean will come actually after the method signature, so it will come here. So now it's saying that I am not returning any boolean yet. So let's do that logic here. So if this dot firebase auth dot here, we should have a current user. So this current user is an attribute, and it is actually the currently signed in user or null. So it will either give a signed in user of the data type firebase.user, or if the user is not signed in, it will give null. So the logic we can apply is, if this is not equals to null, that means the user is signed in. In that case, we'll return true. And the other cases will return false. Now we can go to the app routing module, and you can see that it's still giving complaint. So let's take a look at an example for auth guard. and we can see here is that the service implements can activate, and it has a can activate method, and in the router it's actually calling that service, but it used this square bracket syntax. So we have to use that square bracket syntax to actually give the service name that implemented that particular can activate method. Okay, now with that, now we can go. So it is added in our album/recent. So now we can see that in our application, if the user logged out and if we try to go to that, the recent albums, it's not actually allowing us to anymore because we added the can activate. We can still go to profile and albums, but we don't want that either, but we can't go to the home. So let's add that can activate in all the path where the user should not be able to go to. So the user should not be able to go to profile, and login he should be able to go without the user being logged in. He should not be able to go to this path, not the create, not this specific album page, not to the upload page, and same goes for the photo page. So most of the pages, actually all the pages other than the login, the user should not be able to go. Now when the user tries to go to those pages, what should we do? So currently we just return false by saying that user should not be able to go, but we can go actually one step further, and we can actually if the user tries to go to this path, we can just basically use the router dot navigate to actually make the user go to the login page. Now what will happen is if the user clicks on any of those, they will automatically go to the login page. Even if they manually type the URL, they will automatically go to the login page. So that is helpful for the user, but with that, now there is no point of showing these hyperlinks anymore because we are not allowing the user to go to those pages when they are not logged in. Actually, before that, let's also test that when the user is logged in, they can go to those pages. So now the user is logged in and they automatically went to this recent album page, and now they can click on profile and album and they can go to those pages. But as soon as the user logged out, they went back to the sign in page, and now they can't go to those pages anymore. So these hyperlinks are not useful for the user anymore. So we can get rid of them when the user is not logged in. So the way we can do that is we can go to the album component, app component, and we can see here is that we are showing the logout button, and the login logic for that is if the user is signed in, only in that case we are showing them the logout button. So we can use this same logic for showing the navigation, which is this UL. So we can put that here as well. So if the user is not logged in, don't show the navigation. And now we can see that in action, that at the beginning those menu are not available. The user can go here and they can sign in with the previously signed up user, and once they sign in, now they go back to the application and they also have the navigation available to them, and they also have the logout button. But as soon as the user logs out, he goes back to the sign in page, he cannot see the navigation anymore. Even if the user clicks on the back button or manually types a path that they are not supposed to go, they will automatically go back to the sign in page. So that's everything about router navigate and auth guard. Thank you.